What man talk means to me is really, I visualize man talk being this place where men can come together and talk about things that they don't necessarily feel like talking about with their spouse or women or even with their children. Man talk is a place we can come together. As a matter of fact, Hebrews 10:25, Paul tells us that let us not neglect to meet together with one another, as some people like to do and neglecting that, but encourage one another, especially knowing that we're near the day of the Lord's return. Man Talk is this area where we hope to have men come together and talk about real talk. We're talking real men, real talk, real problems. How can we help one another? How can we lift one another up? How can we show a man as they're walking through this earth circumspectively, not knowing one thing for another? There are times in Man Talk where we need to introduce a man to God, introduce a man to Christ, and one that can show them the way to go. But ultimately, one of the things we have in our society right now that's really hurting us is the lack of fathers in our society right now. So if a child grows up and they lack a father, a figure in their home, not there, when a man come into a church, a young boy come into a church, in that church, we should be able to come together as a communities, and the older men should be able to teach the young men the things that they may not have gotten at home. How to be honorable, how to stand for what is right in the face of everyone else, even if it seemed different than everybody else. How to apologize when you're wrong. How not to make the same mistake over and over again. Man Talk is this area where we can teach these young folk the things that they've never learned before. How to balance a checkbook. What do you need to buy a house? But at the same time, we have some older men that never learned things as well. So how to be the husband that you didn't see your father be with your mother. How to be that father that your father may have ever been to you. Man Talk is that safe environment that they can come and spew out whatever they need to spew out. We comfort one another. We give one another hope. That's what Man Talk means to me.
Man Talk means to me is bridging a gap that I see that we no longer have in our generation. As a lot of us can go back and think when we were younger, we had that grandfather, that uncle, that friend down the street that would sit us down and talk to us about being a man, being a young man, respecting your moms, your wives, your friends, your neighbors, people of different colors, creeds, or whatever. So as I grew up, it seemed like that gap just got wider and wider and wider, where I could go home and all the men that I know that gave me that are no longer here. And I did not see other men doing that. You know, sometimes because they got more money, they felt like they didn't have to reach back and grab those men or those young men that thought they were men and bring them up to teach them things. I don't see that anymore. So with this Man Talk that we're doing, I feel like it's providing a great service to all young men, regardless of age, color. So I think we really need to get back to that and get those men back together, back to the way things were back when we were younger. You know, have that granddad, you know, like our granddads used to do, you know, like our uncles used to do. Pull us back in, sit us down, tell us what's wrong. It ain't always, you did a good job. It ain't always, oh, you're doing great. You know, we fail, we fall, but we always got to have somebody to pick us up. Like Minister Adams said, and the benefits of that, you know, we're going to make better men to our wives, to our neighbors, to our sisters, to our mothers. So, you know, this is a great time to get together, sit down and talk and get back on track and get it together again. You know, and the main thing, get back in the church. You know, as I got in the Army and left for 20 years, I strayed away. But, you know, every time I called my mother, it was always, are you going to church? You know, and I could never lie to my mother. I'd be like, no, ma'am. You know, and right now I'm going to get back in the church, and I'm going to bring friends with me, brothers with me, sisters with me, and we're going to get it together. So thank you, guys.
I think when you look at Man Talk, we established this here as saying not just talking about it, be about it. And I think it's the very most important thing that we can do now is not just to talk a good game. We need to be about a good game. We need to go in, as it stated, being that example to others, being that example to go back out and share with those who are less fortunate, those who are in need. We establish those Man Talk pillars to go in and meet a man at every capacity, every facet that he's dealing with, everything that he's going through right now. We're trying to meet him where he is at. And man talk, like I say, to me, is just that. Meeting a man where he is, not trying to go above him, not trying to go below him. Meet him where he's at. And while we meet him where he's at, we can go in and show him that we all can glean from one another. We all can learn. We all can be that person to help somebody out. Whether you're old, whether you're young, we still can go in and learn from one another. And so that's what we want Man Talk to be about. We want Man Talk to be an environment where men can come together, touching and agreeing, and learning from one another, and taking something back, not just to their own homes, but back to the communities, back to the churches, or even back even to the whole nation. If we can go in and start affecting change, and everybody else that can leave Man Talk can affect change as well, I think we can make a positive impact in this world today. We can go back and be better men that God called, better men that God desires, better men in our homes, better men for our wives, better men for our children, better men for our friends and our communities, better men in the church. We just need to go in and, like I say, allow this here to be an environment where we're not scared to come in and share in our experiences, share our griefs, share our ups and our downs, be in a place where we can all know that we can talk about it and then leave and be about it. Thank you.
Amen. So we as the men of JCC welcome you to join our meetings on the last Thursdays of each month at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll leave you with this. 1 Corinthians 16:13 to 14 says, Paul describes what a man's supposed to do, and that is be on guard, stand firm in faith, be courageous, be strong, and in everything you do, do it in love. Amen.